Are you ready for this?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and there are no right or wrong answers. So, when you think about the future, how do you imagine it'll be? Like, what will nature be like? How will your city change? Will families be the same? What will stay with you, and what will you
There
forget?
are films that we watch for the hype of it. There are films that we watch due to fear of missing out. There are films we watch to stay relevant. And rarely we do come across films that gently seeps into your soul and leaves you a changed person. Johnny, a radio journalist that works a lot with children, interviewing them for a living. He's someone who is full of questions, trying to understand their view of world. The film starts with a bunch of questions shot on us that are too profound. Just as we gather ourselves to try and find answers to some of them, we see these are questions intended for kids. The film thus engages us actively into a conversation literally right from the beginning. Yes, I stole that idea for this video. It is all these questions and the self probing that makes watching Come On a beautiful experience. The film revolves around Johnny, played by Joaquin Phoenix, Viv, his sister, Jesse, her son, that Johnny has to take care of due to circumstances. One of the interesting factor that balances this film and makes us wonder is that it gives agency to the kids, or as they call them,
To kids, young people.
I think adults always think they're the boss and they always got to be the boss of everything. And I think that some adults have that mindset where I'm right and you're wrong.
it is as if it creates a divide between the adults and the kids and questions us if, in the name of being adults and having authority over them, we are oppressing or silencing their voices.
Well, she's right. So.
The kids answer to the profound questions asked earlier brilliantly that we were just struggling to find answers
Sure
to.
that we went in the right path.
Definitely most of all paid more attention to like what's going on around them, because I feel like that's a big problem with like literally everything. Like that's a big thing.
They'll be like, oh, you're from Detroit. It's like, yeah, like it's really dangerous there. The schools are really terrible and like nothing's good there. I was like, well, how would you know? You don't live there. You don't go to school there. You weren't raised in Detroit. Like I've been raised in Detroit all my life. America is so much. It's so much tragedy. And so people aren't treated fairly because race, because of who they like, because of where they live, because of how much money they have. So I would want it to become a better place and people to know that just because someone isn't like you doesn't mean that they're wrong. But then I'm not sure.
We're at the point right now where we have to change things, and just based on our morals as people, I don't really see that
Story wise,
happening
the
anytime
seemingly unrelated angle of giving agency to the young people is not just to establish the career of Johnny, but also pays off later in the film as we learn to listen to the young people earnestly. The story in itself deals a lot of transitions of how people try to move from one emotional space to other for better. The first transition, Johnny calling his sister after a while, initiating a means to establish a connection that he has been avoiding since the death of their mother. Second, Paul taking the leap
I
to
don't know.
move on
I
to
mean,
his
he was
dream
offered
job,
this,
moving
incredible
out of
position
his
at the San
comfort
Francisco
zone
Symphony,
besides
which he
having
totally
mental
deserved.
challenges.
But the transition fucked him up, like transitions always do. And then he got a fucking dog, which he should not have got. So yeah, it's just it's a total mess.
3. Jesse taking a leap to be with Johnny and to go to New York with him. Some transitions help you grow out of your mold, some breaks us. Regardless of anything, the transitions, willingly or unwillingly, tend to happen, like in Jesse's case.
Why my mom let me come with you?
Hey, man, come on. Jesse, you wanted to come.
I didn't really have a choice.
We don't always have a choice. The characters, Johnny, he is still not completely over his breakup, and he has no one to really open up to other than his two friends. He has a lot of unhealed self that is one by one questioned and confronted by Jesse. He also has his way of really listening to young people. Not only that, but it is also a means to encapsulate something mundane to exist forever.
You get to keep these sounds, right? You keep it forever. You make like this mundane thing, like be immortal, and that's cool. And fine.
I ask for trust, cooperation, and permission without knowing where the experience will lead the subject. I can and will leave a place, a situation, a problem, but the people I interview cannot. The work offers the interviewer access and a reason to stay in worlds not my own. Complete distraction from my own life. A sense of invincibility, a sense of invisibility. I traffic in hope without the ability to know what will happen in the future. The work offers the subjects a chance to speak of things they have never spoken of, a chance to see themselves as subjects worthy of time and attention. The work offers the subjects the creation of an image of self, the distribution of which they cannot control, on a global scale, in perpetuity.
Jesse. In a shocking revelation, just 10 minutes into the film, we learn about Jesse.
And he likes to pretend that I have some dead children. And he asks me a lot of questions about what they did so he can do those same things.
That's fucked up.
He's a kid with a bad household. Besides having a loving family, he also knows that it has issues. Why would he want to act as an orphan? We think to ourselves, maybe he wants to escape into the reality he has built in his mind. He does feel so in his mind, besides having a mother and a house. This reveals the troubles he has had to face early in life and his coping mechanisms.
Not so long ago, in an Arctic village far away, there lived a polar bear family. There was a papa polar bear, a mama polar bear, and a baby polar bear, and they all loved each other very much. But something was not quite right. Baby bear knew something was wrong. He never said a word, but he worried all the time. He worried about his papa. You see, Papa Bear had a hard time controlling his feelings, and sometimes he did things that upset and even scared Mama and Baby Bear.
Viv, a mother that is having no choice but to be a mother. With the weight of motherhood bringing her down, she also is left to deal with work and a husband with mental illness. She also dealt with loss of her mother, with whom she never got the closure she wanted. She was always looked as someone who questions. And a strained relationship with Johnny doesn't help to this whole chaos.
Motherhood is the place in our culture where we lodge, or rather bury, the reality of our own conflicts, of what it means to be fully human. It is the ultimate scapegoat for our personal and political failings, for everything that is wrong with the world, which it becomes the task, unrealizable of course, of mothers to repair. What are we doing to mothers when we expect them to carry the burden of everything that is hardest to contemplate about our society and ourselves? Mothers cannot help but be in touch with the most difficult aspects of any fully lived life. Why on earth should it fall to them to paint things bright and innocent and safe?
There is also a poem for us to convey probably what the film means.
To visit planet Earth, you will have to be born as a human child. At first, you will have to learn to use your new body, to move your arms and legs, to pull yourself upright. You will learn to walk and run, to use your hands, to make sounds and form words. Slowly, you will learn to take care of yourself. Here, it is still and peaceful, but there the colors, sensations, and sounds will wash over you constantly. You will see so many living things, plants and animals beyond imagining. Here it is always the same, but there everything is in motion. Everything is always changing. You will be plunged into Earth's river of time. There will be so much for you to learn, and so much for you to feel. Pleasure and fear, joy and disappointment, sadness and wonder. In your confusion and delight, you will forget where you came from. You will grow up, travel, and work. Perhaps you'll have children, even grandchildren of your own. Over the years, you will try to make sense of that happy, sad, full, empty, always shifting life you are in. And when the time comes to return to your star, it may be hard to say goodbye to that strangely beautiful world. Damn this book.
You're crying.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're
All these
definitely crying.
poems are really making us to contemplate things that are much larger than the story itself. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why black and white? To enhance the film's emotional depth and focus and to evoke a sense of timelessness. The film does look very beautiful though. I definitely agree I would have been distracted myself to the beauty of shots instead of self reflection if the film has been in color. Besides the choice of black and white, they have worked much on the framing and the staging very well. There are some striking examples that I could notice in the second watch. If you see here, there is a closed space, and we can understand there is an intimacy starting to build. Meanwhile, when the characters are trapped and things are closing in, we see these kind of frames. Repetitions. Throughout the
He
film,
told
we
me
could
about
see Jesse self talks a lot,
trees
in
communicating.
which he repeats the
What the
events that
fuck do
we
is
saw
it?
happening, but we are not
I
bored,
didn't even know about it.
which we might be tempted to compare to the Tamil film Naduvla Konjam Pakkatha Kanom, where the protagonists take it to an extreme by repeating the same thing throughout the film. But it is a different discussion, as it was intentionally performed in a funny way, unlike a person who really is finding it difficult to recollect. Leaving that aside, we are held with interest when Johnny repeats because this film follows the below mini structure in
He told
multiple
me about
places. The actual event, which is followed by repetition, but it is actually interesting because it is repeated with his point of view, unlike how we saw earlier.
what to say
Throughout the film,
for all
we
the
see
people
that
seem to think I'm a
Johnny
bitch.
Why
as
aren't you
well as
ready?
Viv seem to read Wizard of Oz to Jesse,
Are you guys still there?
but it seems like a meta reference to me because a part of story of Wizard of Oz is this. A kid, Dorothy, swept to a mystery island and with help of three friends, she strives to return back to home. Sounds familiar? At this point, I guess it could be a modern day retelling of Wizard of Oz in a very, very, very high level, or it may not be. The usage of short poems or stanza that packs a punch in storytelling, thereby not just keeping us actively engaged on this discussion throughout that is happening with us on screen, it also paints a picture of the whole thing with details that we are left to imagine, like we do while we read a novel. The story itself ends like a short story title that they have been showing us so far. Thus, by implying the whole film is also like one of the short stories in itself. In a way, the film is about motherhood. We have three mothers in the film: the past, the recent past, and the new. It is about picking up, or rather surprisingly thrown into the motherhood, like passing the baton. They pass Jesse to Johnny. If we think of that way, Johnny on instances think it is hard because he is suddenly put into this, which Viv disagrees.
Why are there so many scratches?
I'm not used to it. I fucking hate it sometimes. I mean, I love him more than I can even understand. And that makes it even worse when I can barely stand to be in the same room with him. Going on and on, talking relentlessly about nothing, random nothingness, interrupting every thought I might have. Making lunch, and doing the dishes from making lunch, and then doing the dishes from making dinner, and then doing the dishes from lunch, and then going grocery shopping, and on and on and on and on. It never stops.
Balloons!
It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. Slow down.
Do you think I'm horrible now?
No.
She has to act as if she has a clue of it all, but in all reality, she is like Johnny, that she has no fucking clue like anyone can. In one way or other, any mother is like Johnny, that they are all thrown into motherhood like that. No pregnancy journey can possibly prepare them for being a mother and raising a kid. It is not just that she has to go through a lot, but she also cannot have the freedom to express what she is going through because she immediately feels the guilt, what we have come to name as mom's guilt.
Do you think I'm horrible now?
Motherhood is, in fact, a scapegoat that we tend all our world's problems to. It is this striking question, regardless of the answer, emphasizes the burden that the motherhood carries. Interviewing kids, if I were Johnny, I would have thought I have a fairly good idea of what it is to be with a child. But when he sits to interview Jesse, it is a totally different game. The interviews so far were formal, but to be with a kid is so informal that their little quirks and behaviors can be too much to handle. Jesse is a reality check to Johnny. Jesse, being raised along with an aware mother and a father with mental challenges, he is forced to sound mature than his age, but it is only an external appearance. He probes his uncle instead of listening to stories like a regular kid. He observes everything and even knows things that his uncle should ideally be aware of.
And I heard that she got an abortion.
What the fuck do I say to that?
He knows all the fancy language of emotions. He even goes to the length of parenting his uncle back.
Come on.
Say it.
Sorry.
It looks as if he cracks open all the unhealed spots of Johnny intentionally, as if he could read through him like an adult. But Jesse is not to be confused with an actual mature person. Johnny, in a way, is also a reality check for Jesse. It is also interesting that Johnny takes a stand to not go along with illusions while He agreed to play along with his own mother. By meeting Johnny, he, for the first time, has to confront his own emotions. Jesse knows the words of it, but not the feel of it, like much of us. Hence the double standards.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about it with anyone, because it's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing.
Hey,
Yeah,
you okay?
I'm embarrassed.
You embarrassed?
I cried.
You're embarrassed that you cried. Don't be embarrassed.
Because I don't usually cry that much.
Huh?
I don't usually cry that much.
He makes friends with people by listening to the recordings.
Would be like loneliness and like people not understanding you even though they're there to understand you and stuff like that. It's just really scary because it feels like you have nobody.
After motherhood hits Johnny like a truck, Johnny gives in to the weirdness of the kid. It feels like Johnny
We
understands
have to
her
wash our
sister,
own hair
why
with the
she does
orphanage.
what she does.
Oh, that's harsh.
It is.
I'm sorry about that.
It is harsh. Not even as a punishment, just wash your hair, you dumb kids.
A reluctant Jesse who refuses to give interview and hates to go with him eventually makes a full circle by recording himself with answers.
Have you ever thought about the future? Oh. Have you ever thought about the future? Yeah.
And wants to keep the memories of being with him very close to him. And he never wants to forget it.
Yeah, you'll barely remember this. You'll have like a few blurry memories of this whole trip.
That's very stupid. You're just the stupidest stupid person.
The arc of Jesse is essentially us. Johnny's little talk is directly piercing into us.
Come on, man. Yeah.
I'm not fine.
Yeah.
And that is a totally reasonable response.
This is fucked up, and that makes sense.
This is fucked up. And that makes sense.
How could this being so fucked up make sense?
It's fucked!
Wrapping up, Come On, a film that looked very deceivingly simple yet very moving in the first watch, had much more to offer me on my second watch. A lot of subtext, a lot of really good technical work, and a lot of therapy. It reminds us that it is okay. It left a deeply therapeutic feeling, the one we might feel after talking our hearts out to a friend after a very long time.
He might be my best friend. I'm not gonna remember any of this.
I'll remind you of everything.